As the world collapses under the grip of a zombie virus, one girl is left trapped, not in the safety of a city, but in the vast, unforgiving desert, where every step is haunted by the ragged, unrelenting breath trailing just behind her. In the blink of an eye, the world falls apart. Millions die, only to rise again, relentlessly hungry for flesh. A zombie apocalypse swiftly engulfs civilization, where survival is the only thing that truly matters. Amid the chaos, Molly, a nightclub dancer, and her boyfriend Nick, a small-time gangster, make a desperate decision: escape Las Vegas. The cities are overrun, swarming with the undead. Their only hope is to find somewhere quiet to wait it out, or get off this blood-soaked, God-forsaken land altogether. Word spreads about a small private airstrip, 100 miles outside the city. Nick's buddy Jimmy heads there first with a few friends to scout it out. When they find functioning planes, Jimmy calls Nick with a plan: fly to Mexico, one of the last safe places. He promises to wait for them, but not for long. Time is running out. As they race through the desert, things start to quickly spiral. Molly, coming down from a mix of alcohol and illegal powder, gets violently sick. Nick pulls over to let her breathe. Once she recovers, they try to keep going, only to realize the car's rear wheel is buried in sand. Nick tries to dig it out, but only makes it worse. Molly suggests finding a board or something to wedge under the tire, but they're in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing around. Nick knows they're running late and calls Jimmy, pleading with him not to take off without them. Frustration boils over. Nick and Molly argue, voices rising with panic. But suddenly, something, or someone, appears on the horizon. A man in a crumpled suit, walking slowly toward them. Alone. At first he looks human. Then they realize, he's not. He's one of them. A lone zombie, drawn by the scent of life. Trying to act tough, Nick grabs a pistol from the glove box, dropping his phone in the process. He aims, fires, and misses, again and again. From just a few feet away, he barely grazes the zombie's leg and shoulder. The creature falls, and for a brief moment, they think they're safe. But the dead don't stay down for long. It starts crawling, inching closer with determination. Nick empties the clip, even blasting off the thing's ear, but it won't stop. Out of ammo and out of time, they run back to the car and lock themselves inside. The engine won't move. The tires are stuck. All they can do is watch in horror as the zombie reaches the car, pressing against the glass, slow, relentless, and unstoppable. Nick hopes the zombie will tire and wander off within minutes, but it doesn't. It keeps growling, coughing up blood, just a few steps away, its presence pressing in on them. The tension between Nick and Molly boils over into an argument, and their focus slips. In the middle of the night, while they're still fighting, the zombie suddenly vanishes. Trying to figure out where it went, Nick switches on the car's high beams while Molly sweeps the darkness with a powerful flashlight. Seeing nothing, they breathe a shaky sigh of relief, convinced the threat is gone. They need to find a phone to call Jimmy and warn him they're running late. Stepping out of the car, they spot a phone, but their brief hope is shattered. The zombie, hidden in the shadows, attacks suddenly, sinking its teeth deep into Nick's neck. Molly watches in horror, powerless to help. As the creature tears Nick apart, devouring his insides, she knows she has only minutes to pack and flee. She grabs water, food, booze, some drugs, Nick's flashlight, and his phone. She steals a glance back, and the zombie is gone again. Then, without warning, it lunges at her. She fights it off and bolts through the passenger door. In total darkness, with nothing but fear and desperation, Molly runs as fast and far as she can, desperate not to become the next victim of the relentless, bloodthirsty predator. At dawn, Molly calls Jimmy to say they'll be delayed. She doesn't tell him Nick's dead, he was Jimmy's friend, and Molly just a stranger. Promising to arrive soon, she pulls up the map. 36 miles lie ahead, but the brutal heat turns the journey into a grueling test that will take days. Starting out alone, Molly faces a new challenge. Her period begins. She rummages through her things and finds a single tampon, forcing herself to stop and use it. Checking her supplies, she finds some food, a few bottles of water, and a small stash of white powder that helps keep her moving forward. At one point, fighter jets roar overhead, but the pilots don't even notice her. When night falls, the desert chills to bone-deep cold. Molly builds a fire to stay warm. Gazing into an old tin can, memories hit her hard, memories of her son, whose fate she barely knows. Instead of raising him, she left him with her older sister Ellie and Ellie's husband Blake. She moved to Las Vegas, dancing in a nightclub for rich men who paid for her company. She never became the mother she wanted to be. Alcohol and drugs helped her forget the guilt. But now, caught between life and death, the thought of her 4-year-old son Chase overwhelms her. Molly's quiet, bittersweet memories are abruptly shattered when a zombie, drawn by her scent, sneaks up from behind. It lunges to attack, but she fights it off just in time. Too drained to run far, she climbs onto a nearby ridge and collapses, trying to catch her breath. Early the next morning, she notices the zombie hasn't left. It's still lurking around a boulder, waiting for a chance to bite her. She pleads silently for it to go away, but it doesn't care. Desperate, she throws a stick to distract it, but the zombie isn't fooled. Realizing it's fixated on her, she hurls a bloody rag to the side. While the creature chases after it, Molly scrambles to gather her things and make a break for it. She falls on her back, slowing her down, but manages to push through and get moving before the zombie closes in. She soon figures out the zombie moves slow but steady, relentless but predictable. If she keeps up a fast pace, she can stay ahead. Losing her grip on reality from the heat and lack of drugs, Molly starts talking to the zombie. It stays silent, but somehow she feels like it's listening, like it understands her. The monster in the suit becomes her strange, silent companion, a mirror for her thoughts and fears, though she doesn't expect a reply. After hours on the road, she stumbles on an abandoned house and decides to hide there for a while. A little distance from the zombie, she finds a room with a mattress and manages to get a few hours sleep. But a noise wakes her. Her relentless pursuer has found her again. It checks every room, and with no way out, Molly hides in the bathroom. A venomous scorpion crawls over her skin, but she can't move. The zombie is just behind the shower curtain. Fighting panic, she stays perfectly still, refusing to give herself away. The next day, Molly pushes on toward the airfield, but the zombie is right behind her again. She tries to scare it off by throwing rocks, but it doesn't back down. Forced to run, she compares it to those creepy club clients who stalk her everywhere. She suspects that in life, this monster was probably a killer, a maniac who took many lives. Realizing she can't lose it, she gives it a name, Smalls. Talking to it like a weird new friend, she keeps up a running conversation with the silent zombie that never leaves her side. Every moment she pauses, it tries to grab her. The only place she feels safe is on high ground, the one spot the living dead can't reach. At night, she camps on the ridge, a fire burning to keep the monster at bay. Somehow, it doesn't seem as terrifying anymore. Being near it feels oddly calming. Sometimes, she even feels like it's really listening, really understanding. The next morning, Molly calls Jimmy again, begging him to hold on a little longer. She's almost there, but her phone's about to die, and if it does, she could get lost and be delayed for hours. Talking to Smalls, Molly confesses she never really loved Nick. Honestly, she's almost relieved he's gone. She just used him, a powerful lover, as her ticket to safety in Mexico, planning to ditch him once she got there. A few hours later, Molly finds herself caught in the heart of a sandstorm. Disoriented and struggling to get her bearings, she accidentally bumps into a zombie and flees blindly into the unknown. Dust and sand whip around her, covering her completely, draining her strength until she briefly loses consciousness. When she wakes, she hears the sound of an engine and calls out for help. Two men driving by in a pickup truck hear her cries and spot her struggling in the distance. Seeing her desperate condition, they offer assistance. Ted and Jason hand her a bottle of water and invite her to rest in their truck, where the air conditioning is running. At the same time, they offer to help search for her bag, buried beneath the sand. While catching her breath, Molly finds a photo of a black man and his son, both wearing the same baseball cap as Jason. On the back seat, she spots a blood-stained prison uniform and realizes that these two men are dangerous killers. She insists she can continue alone and refuses their help, but it's too late. The men have learned she's heading to an operational airstrip and want to know exactly where this safe haven is. Jason suddenly shoves a bag over her head and tries to strangle her, but Nick intervenes with a different plan. He forces valuable information from her, yet even after getting what he wants, Nick decides to take her by force. He gets his way, but the cost is deadly. While the two thugs torment the helpless Molly, the zombie awakens and attacks them from behind. It sinks its teeth into Nick's neck and tears him apart, as if protecting the exhausted and vulnerable girl. The stinker ignores Molly, even though she's lying just feet away, and Jason flees the scene in terror. Among the scattered belongings that fall from the truck, Molly finds a rubber raft and packs her remaining food inside it, determined to press on. The zombie still follows her, but she's no longer afraid. She's learned that people can be far more terrifying and cruel than monsters. When she reaches a place littered with old tires, Molly decides to make the stinker a more useful companion. She ties the raft to a tire and slips it around the zombie's neck, giving herself a moment to rest. As she moves forward, she talks to the creature like a friend, sharing stories about herself, her son, and her family. Her most treasured possession is an old tin can she once used to make a toy phone. She and Chase used to play by talking through the cans, but now it's a cherished piece of her past. After some time, Molly finally gets a chance to rid herself of the monster. She ties the other end of the rope to a heavy rock, trapping the stinker so it can't move and will be stranded in the desert forever. It seems like the obvious choice, but over the course of their journey, Molly has grown attached to the zombie. Despite its grotesque appearance, the Walking Dead has become a friend, the one who saved her when she was at her weakest. Now it looks pitiful and lost, like it can't imagine surviving without her. Moved by compassion, Molly frees it, on one condition, that it never attacks her or tries to make her its next meal. That evening, she keeps talking about her son, and for the first time since Chase came into her life, she feels a deep, instinctive pull of motherhood. She doesn't know what's happened to him, or if he's even alive, but she clings to the hope that Ellie and her husband managed to escape the US and save her boy. The next morning, Molly and Smalls press on. As soon as they step onto the road, Molly spots a convoy of armored vehicles and troop transports rolling by. She quickly tells Smalls to hide, fearing the soldiers might kill him on sight. The convoy rumbles past, but one vehicle slows down, a few soldiers stepping out to investigate something suspicious up ahead. Molly approaches, convincing them that everything's fine. But when Smalls wanders onto the road, it terrifies the soldiers. Shielding the zombie with her own body, Molly pleads with them not to shoot. Still, a soldier fires, a single shot that slams into the monster's knee before they speed away. In agony and helpless, the zombie bites Molly's finger, not out of malice, but pure instinct. Molly's blood runs cold as she realizes how fast the virus spreads. Fighting the infection, she finds a large rock and brutally amputates her finger. Blood pours freely, but she seals the wound with duct tape and urges Smalls to keep moving. He can't walk on his own, but Molly won't abandon him. Instead of rushing to the airstrip, she hauls the zombie into a boat and drags him along behind her. After some time, Molly spots the airstrip. She's almost there. Just as hope begins to flicker, Smalls is too weak to go any further. Searching through his belongings, Molly finds a wallet with photos of a man and his wife. It hits her. This was a good man, someone who even as a monster tried to protect her. Tears prick her eyes as she resolves to end his suffering. Finding a hefty boulder, she crushes the zombie's skull and whispers a tearful goodbye. At the airstrip, Molly notices a red convertible stained with blood. Suddenly, shots ring out. It's Jimmy. The man is frantic, panicked by the fact that some of their friends turned into zombies after a failed monster hunt. He's locked them away, and only he and one other survivor remain. They're ready to leave and offer Molly a seat, but at the last moment, she refuses. She remembers she's a mother, and her child's fate still hangs in the balance. Back at the control panel, Molly calls her sister, but it's her son who answers. Chase is terrified, hiding beneath the bed as something horrible unfolds in the house. He doesn't recognize Molly as his mother, but he begs her to come and save him. Molly's ready to move immediately, but she needs transportation. The keys to the convertible are still with the man who turned into a zombie, so she has no choice but to enter the room filled with monsters. Grabbing a wrench, she steps inside and finds a dead soldier. Suddenly, a bearded zombie lunges at her, but a few sharp blows to the head stop him cold. Pushing forward, Molly encounters another zombie, its face mangled, as if a zombie dog had torn into it. The creature attacks and knocks her down, causing her to lose her tools. Desperate, she grabs a drill and drives it straight into the zombie's brain. Molly manages to find the keys and makes her way to the outskirts of Los Angeles. The neighborhood is a scene of utter chaos and devastation, but she's laser focused on one thing: finding and saving her son. Armed with nothing but a shovel, she steps into her older sister's house, immediately confronted by signs of brutal violence and disorder. Blake is dead, and Eli had set herself on fire to avoid becoming a zombie. After thoroughly searching the house with no sign of her son, despair crashes over Molly. Tears stream down her face, until a faint rustling from a distant room catches her attention. She cautiously investigates and finds Chase, alive. Overwhelmed, she promises him she'll protect him no matter what. As they make their way downstairs, Molly hurriedly puts shoes on Chase's feet, preparing him to run if they have to. Suddenly, a horde of ravenous, furious zombies starts battering the door. The door buckles under the onslaught, and the monsters pour in. Shielding her son behind her, Molly swings the shovel with fierce determination, smashing zombie heads as she fights through the swarm, desperate to reach the car and escape to Mexico. In zombie movies, the heroes usually go down quickly. But here, the danger doesn't strike outright, it lingers silently, stubbornly by your side. What's more terrifying, a sudden, instant death or a life spent trapped in the waiting for that inevitable end? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you in the next video.